Hey everyone! We are live with a very special segment with my quiz coach and a friend and copywriter, Chanti Zak. Give it up.
Hello, everyone. Stoked to be here with you.
This is such perfect timing because we just released a podcast today where you are on it. It's from an earlier Facebook Live, and we talk about your framework to writing quizzes. And Chanti, just in case nobody knows, is the go-to quiz maker in the online space for the bigwigs, for the big entrepreneurs. And so today's episode, she shared her tips for writing a quiz. And I wanted to bring you back into the group to talk about adding quiz services and also talk about your course that opened yesterday. So give everyone a little quick spiel if they're new to you about who you are and what you do and your relatable story.
I love it. Okay, so today I did a webinar and I was talking about why I hate origin stories. It was like, honestly, my story, I feel like it's not that earth-shattering. I discovered these things called quizzes and how effective they are, and built a business around that, around helping businesses to implement the system to generate consistent leads and sales. And now I get to teach that to business owners in all different industries at all different levels, and copywriters and consultants who want to offer it as a service. So, I mean, it's pretty rad, I gotta say. But yeah, I was like laughing at myself because I'm like, my story sounds so not interesting.
No, that's not true. Because if you go backward, you were the chef who started ghostwriting about foot problems.
That's true.
And then
you know that.
your long story is really interesting. You figured a way to carve out a place for you in this online world using your skills and your talent and helps business owners. And guess what, everybody? Quizzes are so bleeping hot right now. I see every single entrepreneur. Okay, that's like a little bit of a fib. Most entrepreneurs are talking about wanting to create a quiz because they know that it can bring in leads. And for all of these reasons Chanti can share, quizzes are so dang hot. And like the fact that you were doing it before it like took off, like you were part of this like event, right? Because you like the timing was perfect, but you're also really freaking good at it.
Well, thank you for that. You make me feel better about my lame story. And yeah, I mean, they are hot because they work. And I was also talking about that. I shared some examples of quizzes from like the 50s, because quizzes have been around for a long time, right? They've been like a media mainstay for, well, at least 70 years. So yeah, they've got staying power. They're not going anywhere.
They're really effective because they help you segment a list. They're interactive. Like we have all these good reasons why quizzes work. And is that like the primary service you do in your business right now? I know you're a copywriter, but is that?
Yeah, and like over the years, what I've developed is, I call it interactive empathy marketing. So it's like quizzes are a huge part of that. They're the interactive piece where you're learning about your audience. And the more you learn about your audience, the more empathy you develop for them. The more empathy you have, the more you can meet someone on their level. And that comes across for them, and they feel like you get them. And when they feel like you get them, they trust you. And when they trust you, they buy from you.
Yes.
Again and again and again. You develop these relationships, and it is an ecosystem. Like it's this constantly moving, changing, balancing act. But when you have that as your foundation, something that you can evolve and grow with. So that's where it's come to today. So it's building that system for private clients and then teaching it to my students, the quiz is a part of it, but it's not even the whole thing.
No. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's just like the gateway to somebody's business. And
Yeah.
I talked about this on our previous Facebook Live, but like when I went through your course, I'm a student. I went through Chanti's course a year ago, and it like really made me dig into my business and my offers and who I'm trying to serve and who I'm not serving. A lot of stuff that I hadn't quite gotten to yet. And so busy doing other people's client work, right?
Yeah.
And it was really eye-opening that it wasn't just the whole thing, that like one and done type of deal. So when did you write your first quiz?
I think it was like, gosh, 3.5 years ago now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a long time in online marketing world.
Yes, right? It's like dog years. So it's been a while. And since then, I have created so many and reviewed and consulted and taught so many amazing business owners. And it's still like there's still such an in-demand thing.
Yeah.
Where not a lot of copywriters or consultants or ad agencies offer it as a service because it has that certain level of like, oh, well, this seems complicated, so we're not going to do it.
That's probably the number one reason why anyone out there who has copywriting skills should look at this as a service, because of the demand. And do not have the time, at least the ones coming to me don't have the time to do it on top of their regular, day-to-day business, like social media, content marketing, like all of that, their client work, their one-on-one client work. And they usually need to bring on somebody extra to handle this extra project. So the demand is there. And you're saying there's not enough people to do it.
Well, and it's such an easy sell because what matters in online business, like leads and being able to build an audience and capture people's attention and make them feel like they belong, they're in the right spot, they're happy to be in your community. And then if you can add on top of that, like the funnel that brings them to whatever it is that you or your client offers, then the ROI on that is just it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
right?
It is.
It's not like trying to sell something that's more intangible.
Yeah.
It's very like, it's numbers, but it's also so much more than that. But because it's numbers, it's easy to get people to say yes.
Yes. And a lot of that is, oh my God, I'm going to like lose my thought process here. Damn it. I'm having like an end of the day mom moment, but oh my God, I was going to just give me a minute to recollect here. You're talking about how easy it is to sell. And I was going to add on to that because it's a solution to all of their pain in their business.
Yeah.
It's going to be a genius answer, way more well thought out like that. But yeah, their pain point is they need to gather leads and they need to warm leads and need to qualify their leads all at the same time and be constantly selling, because you could put offers with quizzes and it just solves all of their pain.
Yeah, and then you get into like, oh, and you can also, segment your audience based on this, which we know that statistically increases conversions, and you can learn about them, and you can, continually update this so that it feels fresh and relevant. You add all that in, and it's like, okay, take my money, let's do this.
Yeah, get it done.
Yeah.
So one of the other reasons that a freelancer out there in this world, in my community, should think about adding quiz funnel services is because it's a value-based pricing, right? Can you talk to everyone about that and what a big deal this is for somebody who is maybe coming at you as a virtual assistant working hourly, doing all of the things.
Yeah, for sure. So when I take on private clients, I ask them questions like, okay, what are your offers? What are your sales like right now? What are your launches like? To get a sense of, do you have an offer that converts? And if you do, then this is just adding fuel to the fire that's already burning. So for you to then create something for them, it's going to build their audience. And if they know that, well, X% of my audience usually converts into a customer, then 100% value-based. Like if you can help them generate, I'll use this client, Ingrid, that I have as an example. Like her quiz that I created for her attracts 5,000 leads every single month.
Woo!
And she is selling programs ranging from $1,000 to $50,000.
Holy
And if she's getting 5,000 people a month, and we have a conservative estimate for what her conversions are, which let's just say 2%. So that's 100 people, right?
Yeah.
Choosing to invest in something between $1,000 and $50,000. Sure, she gets less conversions on the 50,000, but that's 100 people. Like, so minimum, that's $100,000 a month. Minimum.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And she has, you know, it's all built out so that it works. So I didn't charge her $100,000, right?
Darn.
Essentially, though, if you can say, like, okay, well, I'm going to build this thing for you. Your stuff's already converting, so that's great. I'm going to, you know, add this fuel to the fire. Based on your current numbers, I think we can create, like, this sort of increase, even if we're on the conservative level. And then you can easily say, okay, that'll be 10 grand. And you're going to go and make hundreds of thousands from it. So the ROI is, it's that like no-brainer. Yeah, totally. Let's do this, right? If someone knocked on your door today and was like, give me 10 grand and I'll give you 100 grand a month for years.
Yeah, for life.
Right, maybe not for life, but like I build them to last. So, and there's a lot of like research and strategy and thought that goes into that, but it's so worth it to a business owner.
Yeah. Talk to me how you created this framework. So you started your first quiz 3.5 years ago. And this is kind of like a guideline for a lot of freelancers. When you get good at something, you can think about creating digital offers, like, you know, templatizing it for other people and helping them. But how did you figure out your framework? Like, what was that process like for you?
Well, I think that the quizzes I created in the beginning were really bad. And
your honesty.
They were just based on like what BuzzFeed was doing, right? I didn't know any better necessarily. And so like I just was looking at the results and seeing, okay, these are generating lots of leads, but they're not converting into sales. So like what can I add or change or take away to solve that problem? So it was really just experimenting with that. And like you think that the more you do something, the less time it takes you. But it's like with every new quiz project that I personally take on or that my team takes on, it's like it gets more and more in-depth and epic and awesome. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, and in the program, obviously I'm sharing like the current version. So you don't have to like experiment to see what's gonna work and what's not.
Yeah.
That's how I did it, was just through like doing it over and over and over again and iterating and changing and learning, continuously evolving in my skill set so that I could keep making them better.
Now, this is the perfect segue because this is exactly the answer. I didn't coach you on that, but this is why someone should invest in a course with somebody like you who has done the work. You actually wrote the copy, did the research, and you can fast track somebody because you have spent 3.5 years perfecting this and you're constantly doing it. You have your hands in lots of quizzes. And what's working, what's not working. And this is exactly why somebody should invest in the right mentor, the right course to fast track you ahead. And this is what I did a year ago. I know, like, I'm the DIY type. I can get in there and like figure stuff out, and it might take me a while. I might like go down another rabbit hole or two, but like I knew how important this skill set was going to be to me in learning, and I didn't want to jack around. Just I don't want to waste time. I don't have time to waste.
Yeah, right. It's a time thing. Like you can spend the time going through trial and error.
Yeah.
But yeah, the shortcut of having someone to tell you like what works is pretty huge.
And your course walks through that framework. Like give us some details about the course that would have to teach a freelancer to replicate this for their clients and do it for, billable hours and whatnot.
Yeah. So yeah, it goes through like the strategy, developing, the long-term vision. How is the quiz going to connect to the offer that the client is selling, right? So developing that strategy is huge. And that's the first part of it. And then it covers like, okay, now how do you build that out? How do you actually create the quiz? Write amazing results, questions, and there's templates for all of that. And then the emails. So what happens after you get a new lead? You've got all these emails that they're going to get. That's building that relationship and helping convert them from, like, I don't know if this is for me, to like ready to invest. So that whole journey is covered, and there are templates that I use with my clients just to make it super easy. And then the fourth part of it is traffic. So Facebook ads, Instagram ads, how to set that up and run those. Like I don't personally do ads for my private clients, but if you're creating this and you do ads, or you wanted to include that, that's a huge value add. If you know how to set up their ads, like boom.
Yeah.
You got it all. So it covers that, covers that. And then there's like 12 months of coaching with me, which when you joined, it was only 3 months.
No way. I actually have it on the sales page. I wanted to ask you about that. Like is that to help keep people get to the finish line? Because it can be tough. Your first quiz can take a while.
Yeah.
I tapped into you so much and other people in the group, and I needed that. Like it was stretching out for me a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And like in my mind, I'm like, 3 months is plenty of time. But the feedback that I got from the people who were like really engaged and showing up to every call was like, I just want more. Like, I don't want this to end.
Yeah.
So I had to add like way more because give the people what they want, right?
You do that every launch. You're always adding more and more to it. Do you have any cool bonuses that like help the freelancer do this?
Yeah, so I have this Choose Your Own Adventure bonus. And so for business owners who want to get better at copywriting and like really the basic persuasion principles that go into sales emails and sales pages, stuff like that, they can choose that one. But for freelancers, service providers, copywriters, consultants, if you're more interested in selling quizzes as a service, then I have a bonus that's all about selling high-ticket quiz packages. So like I used to charge $600 for my first few quizzes, and now it's like upwards of $7,000.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of cover like how I did that and how I positioned them, how I set up the proposal, how I have the conversations with potential clients. Yeah, it goes into that.
I love that because sometimes when you're having that kickoff call with a client and you're like, what am I forgetting? Especially if it's your first one. And Chanti coaches charge out of the gate right away. Like writing a quiz is not easy. As she said, you are going to have a immediate ROI on a business if it's a good quiz. So you don't want to like undercharge, but if you go through Chanti's course, you should be charging. What's your number? I think you said $1,500 last time I talked to you. Like charge what?
Yeah,
good
for the first one.
Yeah, and then from there, you coach like I do. You keep adding as you book out. Like that means it's time to
Yeah.
prices.
Yeah, exactly.
So I haven't told you this number, and I haven't given you a big update, but I've been helping my friend Linda, and we actually met in your course.
Yeah.
And she has been getting a lot of quiz clients, and then I've been partnering with her, and I've been doing all of the tech integrations, and I've been doing all the Facebook ads. I love Facebook ads. I like the copy for it, but like my mind right now, it's been hard to I'm glad Linda's doing the writing. Like I'll get to QC and come in and like be like bossy pants a little bit, not like to Linda, but in general, like put in my opinion. But she's doing the copywriting. I'm doing the integrations, which can be tricky. Everybody has a little bit of different package, and we are charging a pretty penny.
I don't know.
I think Chanti, this isn't my final number, and I don't know if Linda's watching this, but I want to say we might have brought in, we're like booked for the end of the year. I think we might have brought in like 20K in the last 3 months.
Oh my God.
I know. We need to give you some testimonial stats.
Please.
And I'm perfectly happy with this because I can do this in the cracks of time with homeschool, the tech.
Yeah.
Like I do this all the time in my unicorn world. It's just really focused on quizzes, and it's awesome.
What a great partnership. That's so cool that you can like have complementary skill sets come together and for the client, give them the whole package.
Yeah. And we're at a price point where it's, this is kind of, I don't know how to say this nicely, but like you're helping clients like higher ends. We're kind of like coming under that. We're scooping up somewhere a little more affordable, but already I'm like, Linda, like you need to be charging more because what she's doing is really good, but it's just so nice because your course gives us the confidence to do that. I did not see this a year ago. I honestly didn't. I also did not predict COVID.
Yeah, and you did your own quiz.
Yes, I did for my own business. I forgot about this. And it has, at first I didn't make emails required. So my numbers are a little bit off, but I think if I had made them required, I probably would have gotten about 6,000. I'm at about 4,000. I did turn all my ads off just recently to kind of slow things down. But yeah, my conversions, especially for people who start the ad, are like 77% like convert and then turn into a lead. Like it's good.
Yeah, that's really good.
And I did a version. I like changed it a little bit. I probably need to go back and revisit it now that I've been in business another year. But I did a different version for teachers because I'm finding a lot of teachers coming into my world. They're like the perfect unicorn. Right? Very well-rounded, versatile, smart women, mainly women. And now I have like an ad just for them. So I need to kind of like, I have a lot of fixing I need to do to up-level. So that's probably, so the third reason you should probably consider funnel services is because it is a project-based, like one and done. If you're not giving this like ongoing service and you
can if you want to.
Oh, explain. What would you do?
Well, like I've started doing a sort of back-end retainer offer, which I don't offer to everyone, but the thing is a lot of business owners at this like high level, they're struggling with like not just building their email lists, but maintaining the connection with the new leads that come in, keeping everything like really on point. So weekly emails, at least weekly, right? And welcome sequence that like is building and growing over time and getting better so that new leads just feel more and more nurtured, and like it just, you're looking at the analytics of the quiz and taking that data and using it to tweak your emails, your content. So that's sort of like the behind the scenes.
Good point.
You know, we can create this for you. You can have some huge successes. And then if you want to keep working with us in maintaining it, well, cool. We got you covered there too.
I love that, because that's the operative word. If you want to keep working with them, you can. And it opens up the doors to email marketing, probably some content marketing. And for me, a lot of people are like, well, can you keep managing my ads? Which I am like kind of surprised, but there's a certain level of entrepreneur who doesn't have the big team.
Yeah.
Just appreciates that. And they'll probably go on to like a full-blown ads manager. Like, I don't call myself that, but like that might be right down the road. But it's interesting. I kind of forgot about how that opens it up.
Yeah. Well, and like, I think it's really easy to bash retainers, right? Because we're like, then, you know, you're treated like an employee, and it's this like ties you down. But personally, like as the sole provider for a family, like soon to be family of 5, I kind of like having the security of knowing that I've got like high-end clients working with me every single month, and now have like numbers to back up building a team. Whereas before, like when it's project based, sometimes it's more up and down, right? So this, like, it adds that sort of consistency. So that's just my piece on like retainers aren't always bad. But you still have to charge like based on value, not on time.
Yes.
So positioning it intelligently and like, only working with people long term who you love, who you just like, I don't ever want us to be apart. Let's work together forever.
How do you tactfully tell somebody, just a little, you know, freelancer to freelancer, like how do you say no? What's your, do you just say
I don't even bring it up. I don't even bring up the opportunity.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Because it's fully like, it's not on my website. It's not anywhere. Yeah.
Oh, good. Because I already have some of those quiz clients. Like, how can we continue to work together? So, of course, the ones I like. Yeah, I'm like, yep, I'm there. We'll figure it out. So I just hadn't put it into words yet. So we have a couple questions. One is from Joanne, asking about what skills you need to have to build a good quiz.
Other than copywriting skills.
Yeah.
So research skills, being like an innately curious person, being interested in different personality types, in how people show up in the world in different ways, right? So a lot of quizzes, they're gonna have that personality aspect. So if that's something you're naturally interested in, then that's a bonus, because understanding like DISC, I know Linda uses the DISC a lot, or like the Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, like these different personality systems are so useful when you go to write the actual results. So that's one thing. And then, like the research side is just like being curious, really like diving into the world of who you're helping, and not being afraid to like review survey results and, you know, stalk their Facebook groups and read people's comments and get into their heads a little bit. And that also comes back to like just having empathy for where other people are at, and the ability to sort of tune into that so that you can get on their level. So it's mostly those like soft skills, much less so than like knowing all the tech stuff, because that's optional. You don't have to offer the setup and the tech.
I'm glad you said that. Did you do that early on? Did you do any of the tech? You just did all the writing, right?
Well, I still offer like the quiz setup itself, which my VA does.
Okay.
And then I just, you know, like pay her separately. But what did I used to offer? I think I experimented a few times with offering like the whole thing, setting up all the emails and Facebook, and like it was just not my jam because I'm not like super techy.
Yeah. But if you add that could be your unicorn package, Joanne. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
You can
You're good at that stuff.
Yeah.
Add it because like they don't love like no one loves hearing that you're not giving them the absolute full package, everything they need.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with referring out to a better graphic designer, a better ad manager. So
that's what I do. I'm just like, I'm here to focus on my zone of genius. Here's a list of people who can help you with the other stuff.
Yeah. And that's good freelancer advice anyway. And you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And you can stick to what you're good at, and you can stick to what you are familiar with too. But if that's something that lights your fire, like this could be a good way. And totally. She was asking about the technology for doing a quiz, which we share all the time, but tell everyone your favorite quiz software.
Well, I like Interact. They're my fave.
Yeah.
They're just so easy to use and super, super good people that built that company. Like they are very serious about data protection. They're not selling anyone's data or anything shady like that. And it connects super easily to all the different email marketing systems.
Yes.
And it's affordable. Like there's some other quiz hosting softwares that are like hundreds of bucks a month and do really similar things. So
yes. I feel like there are some that might be slightly better for more assessment quizzes, but we're talking a lot about the personality ones here. They're just more fun. They have a better tendency to go viral. People like to share their results. Go back and listen to the podcast that came out today where Chanti shares like her SPARK method about being positive with your results. That will give you some a good starting point. That if you know something you might want to, you want to explore as a service, like getting that backing into doing Chanti's course is a great way to go because you already know that these services are in demand. You can charge more, and you can limit yourself. You can either limit by project or by service, and you don't have to be all of that things to everybody at this point. Tell everyone about your course. Like, when does it's open right now. I put my affiliate partner link in there. When does it start?
We're going to kick off on December 3rd. Okay. The doors close on the 1st. So we'll have our first coaching call on the 3rd. And phase 1, so the first part of it, you get like pretty much as soon as you sign up. Yeah.
One of the reasons I like your course and I like the smaller courses too in general is you're with other entrepreneurs and you're getting that one-on-one time with you, and there's not 5,000 people in there. And,
yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh, I learned so much. I got to network with a lot of people. I learned a lot of like copywriting basics from you, or just like the right terminology to call that thing. And it really helped me with it helped me build my business. I don't want to say from the ground up, but like I said, I had to go look at those offers. I really had to think about my customers, and you can't just like whip out a quiz and expect it to do well. It just doesn't work. So yeah. Anything else we need to know about your course? Am I forgetting anything, Chanti?
No, but that's a great point. It's so tight knit and it's a smaller community, and I love that too. Like I want it to stay that way because everybody kind of gets to know each other, and we have these great calls where everyone gets a chance to ask their questions, share what's going on. It's so much more than just quizzes.
Yeah.
That's another that's maybe like number 2 piece of feedback that I've gotten is like, I just had no idea that this would be about so much more than just quizzes. Like it's so helpful for just your business in general and your mindset around what's possible.
Yes.
Freelancers, especially, like that can be hard. The average freelancer makes like 40 grand a year.
Yes. You said something really good in our last Facebook Lives together, and you were talking about how the world really opens up to you when you start to interact with other service providers and freelancers, and you start to realize that you can do those things too. And this whole world will open up to you that you don't even know. And I'm telling you, I didn't even know where my business would be in a year. And you have to get in those circles. And this is appropriate here. I do have a lot of students here, but there are people here in my Facebook group who you're not used to this. You might be newer to this world. And like, think about that. Think about your course and who you're jumping in with and who you're going to be working with, and make sure it's a leader in your industry. It's somebody who's successful at what they do and has a business that's high, like, no offense, higher level up there that you like admire. And
Yeah.
I don't know. And do you have any take on that? That was such a good quote you said. I loved it so much. And it's been a game changer for me when I realized if I pay to play, like the ROI is like 10 times, 100 times.
Oh yeah. Well, just one new connection, one relationship can lead to like, what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was introduced to Amy Porterfield through Jenna Kutcher, through Joanna Weave, like all these people, and I can trace it back to like one decision and investment, right? So there's another great quote, I forget who says this, but it's like, surround yourself with people who are like on your level, who you can relate to, like they're your peers, right?
Yeah.
And they get where you're at. And then at least one person who's like just a few steps ahead of you.
Yes.
Who you like, you can watch them and be like, yeah, I'm really close to that. And that's what I want. And like you can follow their trajectory. So just a few steps, not too many. And then at least one person who's like, whoa, like they're next level. That's where I want to be in 5 years, kind of big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that for you? I keep needing to talk. I just want to have this conversation right now. Like, who is that for you?
Well, okay, so my people who are like a few steps ahead of me, who I'm just like watching them grow and rise, and I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm like close to that, are probably Tarzan and Ashlyn Carter.
Okay.
Ashlyn, she has a very similar business model to me, which is like half agency, half digital courses.
Yeah.
So, and she's probably like a few more steps ahead.
Yeah.
But then like a big vision person, I mean, Amy for sure, although I don't know if I could ever manage a team of like 20 people.
I don't know if I'm not quite that level, but
yeah, but also I work with her all the time, and we've worked together for years now, so it's been cool to see how quickly she's gone from a smaller team to that 20-person team and grown in that way. And it's like, oh yeah, like you don't need to be superhuman to do that. It's doable if you want it.
yes. Oh my God. And you wrote Tarzan's quiz and you wrote Amy's quiz. Like you're there. You're just busy having babies.
Yes. All the babies.
Yeah, you're just in a different phase of life where you're moving, but you're there. Like I see you on all the podcasts, and you're out there. People are talking about you, but that's interesting. It's always fun to talk to different people and figure out who that is, because there's a lot of options out there. And I did not know this starting out, especially when I started getting serious with my business. I didn't know any of this, none of it. So like just this little mindset check, like who to align yourself with is gold. Because it can help you get there faster. And you don't always know exactly what your business is going to be like. And that's okay too. That's hard for some people. But this would certainly be a good option. I know it's bringing in the bread and butter for me right now. And I was not intending on that happening. Although whenever I start working with clients or like even my old clients, I'm like, we should do a quiz.
Yes.
And then I have to like tell them what my new rates are.
Right.
But I have a couple old clients who are like circling back to me. I'm like, I don't think you realize like I'm not the same VA.
Yeah. Well, that's happened to me too. Yeah, even recently, like people I've worked with 4 years ago coming back and being like, oh, I want to work with you again. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's so
I'm like, I don't charge $50 a blog post anymore.
I remember that. And I also don't write about foot diseases.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God.
Over that. Okay, just a couple more questions. Oh, Deb says the quiz is what got me to Emily's course. Woo woo.
Yes.
How do we track that? What's the best way to track your?
I mean, it's just to ask when people join your course, like, what brought you here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I start to get all techie in my brain, and I'm like, oh, I mean, you can go back and look at the tags and probably filter.
You can track it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, Deb. I didn't realize that. And then Joanne had another question about targeting specific industries. Do you work with specific industries, or do you?
I work with a lot of like personality-based brands and B2B. That's just like, it just happens naturally, but also personal development, like spirituality, that comes up a lot, lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's really for me like personality based brands that need someone who can like capture their voice and get it. So that's like the main. And then I've had students who, like Amy Williamson, I think she was in the same round as you. She is also a copywriter, and she does quizzes for e-commerce specifically.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and then another student, April, who's a copywriter, she works mainly with coaches.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like other examples of people who really niched.
And it gets easier when you know that ICA really well. Like those quizzes don't take as long when you're more familiar with that audience. Tell everyone, before we go here, tell everyone about what your mom said when you told her you were doing a course to teach other people what you did.
Oh yeah, she was like, are you stupid? Like you're gonna give your secrets away, just give your business away? I'm like, no, there's plenty to go around.
Yeah,
there really is.
I love that. You have like that essence of abundance. You want to help people succeed. You're not threatened. Like you have the same community like I'm trying to create with my students, that there's so many opportunities. There's enough. And you're here to help people fast track and move forward. So if anyone wants to, I'm going to share a link to your quiz. I need to do that. And then if you do another encore webinar, please let me know, and I'll just share that with my students. I'm trying to convince her to do one. I don't know.
I might.
Yeah. And if you have more questions, I encourage you to look at or listen to the podcast that came out. It's also a Facebook Live right here in this group. You can go back and listen to that and learn from Chanti, and you're going to want to take the course, like hands down. Feel free to reach out to me. Other students who have taken it have been some of my all-stars, like Natasha, Heather here in the group. I'll tag them. You're welcome to ask them questions and see if this course is right for you. You have time to decide. Plus, Chanti, you have a couple of Facebook Lives coming up, don't you, that are pretty.
Yeah. I'll have like a live Q&A. I think it's tomorrow. So if you follow my business page, which is just Chanti Zak Copy, you'll be able to catch that. That's tomorrow at 2.
Okay, perfect.
So bring all your questions. And we've got live chat on the sales page. So check that out if you have questions. Like someone's there answering them.
I saw that. I was like, ooh, I kind of want to see who's behind. Is it?
Yeah. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes it's Dawn. Yeah.
I've done the live chat a lot for different clients too, so that's kind of fun. Okay, so Allison had a really good question. Allison's one of my all-stars. I think she'd be really good at this. She said, should I put she's like, I want to offer quiz funnels as a service, but I fall more into the tech side of skills. Should I put more into copywriting skills before this course?
Oh, good question. Well, and I think it's also like, do you enjoy copywriting? Because it could be a partnership type situation too, where you work with someone who's really good at the copy side and you learn the logistics of how to set up the strategy, outline all of the results, how the questions connect. Like you could take care of that part and they could take care of the copy. If you wanted to learn the copy, I mean, we cover copy a lot in the program because it's a lot of business owners who aren't copywriters. Yeah. So like there's the copywriting bonus, and I've added email marketing 101 to the program too, which is like super basic, but like really important stuff about writing emails. So we do cover copy a lot, but also like bring it back to what do you enjoy?
Yeah. That's really good. And Allison, you do not have to be the grandmaster at copywriting. Chanti will help you get there.
Well, and it's funny, like there's so many copywriting courses, right? Mm-hmm. Personally, I learned copywriting mostly through practice.
Yeah.
And like getting feedback.
Yeah.
And that's the number one thing. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. This is very specific to quizzes, Allison, but you're going to learn some copywriting skills that will help you and gain confidence in what you do. Allison's very much a unicorn right now. So I could totally see this working for Sarah, by the way, Allison. She's like a big wig client of hers. But okay. Well, Chanti, thank you so much for joining us as always. I wish you luck on the course launch, and I look forward to welcoming any of the new students over in the group because I'm over there too.
Yay! Thank you so much, and thanks everybody who's hanging out.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Bye.